What defines a civilization? Is it great cities of stone and marble? Temples that reach to the sky? Is it the invention of writing or the domestication of plants? Is it the sound of bronze tools striking rock, or the slow unfolding of law, ritual, and memory? Maybe it's none of those things, or maybe it's all of them. Civilization isn't a moment in time, it's a process, a slow, uncertain, layered unfolding of human choices. It begins not with monuments, but with small acts. A seed planted, a fire kept burning, a decision to stay in one place just a little longer than the season before. From those quiet beginnings, something astonishing happened. Hunter-gatherers became farmers. Farmers became neighbors. Neighbors became citizens. And across time, across rivers and deserts and forests, civilization emerged again and again. In this documentary, we'll travel across continents and centuries, from the muddy riverbanks of Mesopotamia to the cloud palaces of the Inca, from the silent tombs of China to the neon hum of modern megacities. You'll see how civilizations rose not just by building, but by believing, and how they fell not just by war, but by forgetting. So now settle in and imagine the very first sparks of the human story as we begin. The first thing to understand is this: civilization didn't begin everywhere, but it could have. Humanity, the Homo sapiens species, has been around for over 300,000 years. For most of that time, we lived without cities, without writing, without rulers. We lived in small, mobile groups, following herds, gathering wild plants, shaping stone tools, and passing stories by firelight. That world, the Paleolithic, was not primitive. It was rich with knowledge. But it was also limited by movement, by uncertainty, and by the relentless demands of survival. And then, sometime around 12,000 years ago, something changed. Not suddenly, and not everywhere, but in patches. In certain valleys and plains, where rivers ran and wild grasses swayed, humans began to stay, to plant, to shape the land. This was the Neolithic Revolution. Imagine a family in the Fertile Crescent. One day, someone scatters seeds near the camp. Weeks later, green shoots return, and soon they're staying longer, building granaries, shaping stone walls. What begins as a seasonal camp slowly becomes a village. From Jericho to Çatalhöyük, these first settlements dot the landscape. There are no palaces here, no kings, but there are courtyards, shrines, and shared spaces. Life is rooted. Time is measured in harvests, and slowly, hierarchy begins. But true civilization, cities, states, and writing would require something more. That moment came first in the valleys of the Tigris and Euphrates. Here, in what's now Iraq, the rivers are unpredictable. To tame them, people dug canals. To organize that labor, they needed leaders. And so, around 3000 BC, cities rose from the mud. Uruk, Lagash, Eridu, Ur. They had towering temples, ziggurats, and above all, they had writing. Cuneiform began as a way to track barley and sheep, but over time, it recorded myths, laws, and dreams. Empires came and went. Akkadians, Babylonians with Hammurabi's code, and the Assyrians. Mesopotamia gave us the wheel, the plow, and astronomy. but its soil could not always support its ambition. As its cities declined, others rose westward on a river of a different kind. Egypt, the gift of the Nile. Here, the river was predictable, a source of stability. Around 3100 BC, Egypt unified under one crown. Pharaohs ruled as gods. Life was cyclical: flood, plant, harvest, death, mummification, rebirth. Hieroglyphs told their stories. Pyramids at Giza and temples at Karnak stood as symbols of permanence. Protected by deserts, Egypt lasted not centuries, but millennia. Eastward, along the Indus River, another civilization blossomed. Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were masterpieces of urban planning, with grid streets and advanced drainage systems. They had trade, standardized bricks, and a script we still can't read. But there were no palaces, no massive temples, no statues of kings. It remains one of history's great enigmas. And then, around 1900 BC, it faded away. Meanwhile, in the valleys of the Yellow River, China's story began with the Shang dynasty. They left behind oracle bones, questions to the gods. They mastered bronze casting and revered their ancestors. When the Shang fell, the Zhou dynasty introduced a new idea, the mandate of heaven. A ruler's power came from virtue, not just bloodline. If a dynasty grew corrupt, heaven would withdraw its blessing, and revolution would follow. This idea would echo through Chinese history for millennia. While these four are the classical cradles, many others stirred. In Peru, the Norte Chico built pyramids. In West Africa, the Nak culture forged terracotta. In Mesoamerica, the Olmec carved colossal heads. Civilization was not a singular event, it was a chorus. As we leave these ancient cities, we prepare for a new phase.
The age of the city becomes the age of the empire. As cities grew, so did their ambitions. Kings dreamed not just of ruling one place, but many. This is when history begins to echo. Empires are not only built by conquest, they are held together by roads, taxes, law, and belief. The Persians were the first to build an empire at scale. By the 6th century BC, Cyrus the Great ruled from the Indus to the Aegean Sea. He was a statesman, respecting local customs and religions. His successors, Darius and Xerxes, built the royal road and established a common currency. Persia was a model of administration, but across the sea it met resistance. Greece was a collection of fiercely independent city-states. Athens birthed democracy. Sparta embodied military discipline. Together they repelled the mighty Persian army at Marathon and Salamis. In the aftermath, Athens flourished. This was its golden age, the time of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. But victory led to rivalry. Athens and Sparta turned on each other, weakening Greece for what was to come. In 336 BC, Alexander the Great inherited the throne of Macedon. In just 13 years, he conquered the known world, from Greece to India. His goal was not just conquest, it was fusion. He married Persian women and founded cities across his empire, spreading Greek culture in what we call the Hellenistic era. While Alexander's empire dissolved, Rome was rising. It began as a republic of farmers and senators, but as it expanded, civil wars tore it apart. Enter Julius Caesar, general, reformer, dictator. His assassination paved the way for his heir, Augustus, who became the first emperor. For 200 years, the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, brought stability. Rome gave us law, Latin, concrete, and roads. But by the 5th century AD, plagued by invasions and corruption, the Western Empire fell. In India, empire was guided by dharma, or moral law. The Mauryan Emperor Ashoka, after a brutal war, converted to Buddhism and promoted non-violence across his vast lands. Later, the Gupta Empire ushered in a golden age of science, mathematics, and art, giving the world the concept of zero. In China, the Qin dynasty unified the warring states and built the first Great Wall. The Han dynasty that followed rivaled Rome in its sophistication, expanding trade along the Silk Roads and cementing Confucianism as the backbone of its government. And across the oceans, isolated from the Old World, great civilizations thrived. The Maya mapped the stars with stunning accuracy. The Aztec built the magnificent floating city of Tenochtitlan. And high in the Andes, the Inca engineered a vast empire, connected by stone roads, all without the wheel or a written language. Empires rise on ambition and fall from overreach, but they leave behind more than ruins. They leave languages, laws, and legends. Next, we enter a new phase, where connection comes not just through conquest, but through faith, trade, and innovation. After the great empires of antiquity faltered, the world didn't stop. It reoriented. Ideas began traveling farther and faster than ever before. Faith became a powerful unifying force. Christianity, born in a Roman province, spread across Europe, shaping law, art, and society. In the 7th century, from the deserts of Arabia, Islam emerged. Within a century, the Islamic world stretched from Spain to India. Cities like Baghdad, Cordoba, and Cairo became dazzling centers of learning. This was the Islamic Golden Age, where scholars translated Greek texts, developed algebra, refined medicine, and mapped the stars. Trade wove the known world together. The Silk Roads were a network of caravan routes moving goods, and more importantly, ideas between China, India, Persia, and Europe. At sea, the Indian Ocean Trade Network connected Africa to Asia. These routes were the cultural superhighways of the medieval world. At the heart of this network was China. The Tang and Song dynasties led the world in technology and governance. They invented paper money, gunpowder, the compass, and movable type printing. Their cities were the most advanced on Earth. Meanwhile, Europe was slowly recovering from Rome's collapse. Knowledge was preserved in Christian monasteries. Universities emerged in Bologna, Oxford, and Paris. This slow reawakening, fueled by contact with the Islamic world,
would plant the seeds of the Renaissance. And in the 15th century, one invention changed everything. Johannes Gutenberg's printing press allowed knowledge to be duplicated and spread at a revolutionary speed. It broke the monopoly on information and reshaped religion, science, and politics forever. The world was becoming a connected system, but soon tall ships would cross the oceans and old worlds would collide. The modern world was forged in the fire of exploration, revolution, and industry. In the late 15th century, European explorers set sail across the seas. The Columbian Exchange began, moving crops, animals, and diseases across the Atlantic, reshaping the globe forever. This was the dawn of colonial empires. The 18th century brought revolutions of thought and freedom. The American Revolution in 1776 and the French Revolution in 1789 shattered old monarchies with ideals of liberty and nationhood. Then machines reshaped life. The Industrial Revolution, born in Britain, brought steam engines, factories, and mass production. Cities exploded in size, but often at a human cost. It was an age of progress and upheaval. While industry advanced, European powers carved up the globe in an age of new imperialism, leading to immense wealth for some and subjugation for many. The 20th century tested humanity's limits. World War I and World War II unleashed destruction on an unprecedented scale, shattering empires and giving rise to new global powers and ideologies. From the ashes rose a new world, divided by the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. We raced to the moon while fearing nuclear annihilation. In the midst of this, decolonization swept the globe as nations threw off imperial rule.
Then came the information age. Computers and later the internet connected the planet in ways previously unimaginable, creating the globalized yet fractured world we live in today. From mud huts by rivers to cities of glass and steel, the human story is one of resilience and creativity. It is a story not just of grand monuments and famous rulers, but of countless unseen lives. It has never been perfect. It is messy, fragile, and often unfair, but it is also brilliant and endlessly surprising. Today, as we navigate a world more connected than ever, we carry the legacies of all who came before. As you move from this history into your own moment, remember, you are part of this ongoing story. Thank you for traveling through time with us. May the past's lessons gently guide you forward, and may your own story be one of curiosity, kindness, and wonder.